So I really do appreciate you taking your time out just to actually talk to me. This means a lot. It seriously does. Um,
So it's only,
sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
it's only me. Don't worry.
I thought it was going to be like an April Fool's joke that you were going to pull on me, like, uh, fuck, I'll get this guy. So this is just going to be a casual conversation. It's not going to be anything special. So expect a lot of cursing
Yeah,
and
no. Honestly, I'm used. Yeah, yeah, no worries at all.
um, I just have to again at the start show you all the shite too first. So I am a huge big guy
Ah, look at that.
of
Very
banjo.
good. Very good.
So I am a huge and
Oh,
also,
faithful.
and you've seen the tattoo. I sent you a picture of the tattoo as well.
Yeah, amazing, amazing.
So I just want to start off. What is a normal day for you? What you do in a normal day as Grant Kirkhope?
Well, I write music every day, really. I mean, I really do 7 days a week. Whether I'm working on a project or not, I'll write something. So I usually start 8:45 in the morning, somewhere around there, and
Oh,
then I go till like maybe 1 or 2, and then I'm not that great, and then I kind of do something like at the grocery shopping or whatever I have to do, or errands, etc. And then I'll go back to it at night if I'm busy. That's my day in day out, really.
that's crazy as well. Like that was the very first question I wrote down. I thought that'd be an interesting one. So where did the music come from? Was it just like was it in the family or was it something that just came about? Because I know that you're a metal fan. I know that you're.
You're right. Yeah. Well, my mother was a dancer in the night halls and in the dance halls, and sorry, she was a dancer in the concert halls of Edinburgh. She actually did those shows. She was like the dancer that my dad was like he was a steel works manager in Redpath Brown in Edinburgh. But my dad was super musical. He didn't play anything, but he was like he could whistle away. And so I guess as a kid, I was like, Sunday was music day, so he used to play. He was a massive Frank Sinatra fan, so I know lots of Frank Sinatra, Glenn Miller, all the big band stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm a mother too, so that's the kind of stuff that I grew up on, like Frank Sinatra and the big bands.
Oh wow! Because like I would be a punk, so my stuff would be all kind of like 70s punk, 80s punk. And it was wild funny because that's another way I was going to get into about the bands that you listened to when you were younger. So I would assume it was all like kind of like I'd say maybe Iron Maiden and stuff like that. Would it be?
So I feel like starting to get to rock about maybe 12 or 13, something like that. So it was kind of the first two bands were AC/DC, the first album, High Voltage,
Okay.
and Queen Sheer Heart Attack. They were the two that I played until they wore out and I had to buy them again. Those two, and then I went from there really. So it looks like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Van Halen, that kind of stuff.
Metallica and stuff like that.
Not so much. So I was because I was slightly older. Like I thought it took me about a while to get into the thrash bands, so I
Mm.
didn't really get into the thrash. I was still like quite melodic metal really. So it was like Maiden, Priest, Scorpions, Van Halen, all that kind of 80s stuff. It wasn't until later on that the kind of thrash stuff. I didn't really like Metallica at the start. It was all too fast. I didn't like Motorhead. It's more like that kind of big singer, Queensryche, sort of thing that I used to get into. That was the stuff that I liked most.
The stuff I was really into the stuff Little Fingers and Sham 69 and kind of that oi
Yeah, I
kind
remember
of
them. Yeah, of course.
oi
Yeah.
music. But I'd be sacrilegious if I don't ask this question, being an Irishman, because if I don't ask this, it'd be ridiculous. Do you know any Irish bands from Ireland? We'll not mention you too, but
So I guess, yeah. So I was a huge Thin Lizzy fan, still am.
nice.
So the first band I was in, I think we had a set of like 14 songs, and 11 of them were Thin Lizzy.
Oh wow!
So like Live and Dangerous was like just such a revelation. That album was fantastic. So and Phil Lynott was a legend, of
Oh
course. So
wow!
and Gary Moore too, I guess later on. Yeah, I'm a massive Lizzy fan, definitely. And
Oh
I can't think who
class!
else is it. Yeah, no, definitely.
Uh,
Just think of other Irish bands I used to like. Well, I mean, I guess the Pogues, right? So the
yeah.
Pogues pretty cool. Um, who else did I like? I did like the Cause at some point a little bit. I know it's a different kind of music, but I felt like they were different, and I liked the sound.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about Rory Gallagher? Have you ever heard about Rory Gallagher?
Yes, I tell you what. Like when I was a kid, there was a show called Rock Goes to College,
Hmm.
and it was like in the 70s, and they used to have a live band at a university every week. And I remember the Rory Gallagher one. I recorded it with my cassette player from the TV and played it over and over and over again because I thought I couldn't believe what a great guitar player he was. It was fantastic.
Oh, he's amazing. Like they have a festival in. I'm from Donegal at the top of Ireland, so they have a
Right.
festival to kind of it's like a tribute thing that they do every year, and they bring a whole pile of big bands and musicians from around the world. Like they actually had the guitarists from the Scorpions play there last year.
All right.
So he's a big thing, and I just thought this ask that just it would kill me if I never asked you that.
No, well, funny enough, there's a friend of mine called Jed Thomas, and I've known Jed for well, umpteen years. He come in the same town, Harrogate, that I kind of hung around as a kid, and he does a huge Rory Gallagher tribute, and he goes to that festival every year. I know he does.
Oh wow! Oh, that's interesting.
Jed Thomas, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So here's the question I want to see how your response would be. The difference from living in Scotland compared to LA.
Well, I guess so. I was born in Edinburgh, right? So
Yeah.
I lived there till I was like 6, and then I moved to North Yorkshire when I was like 6 years old. So I was there for the rest of the time in the UK until I moved to the Midlands when I worked at Rare, like a place called Twycross. I lived in a place called Ashby de la Zouch in England near Rare. A lot of the Rare guys lived there, or Colville. Not the best. When I go back to Edinburgh, you forget what a fantastic city it is, right? You know, my cousins are still there, so I've still got family there. And, you know, I do miss that just Harry Potterness of a city. Like, it looks like Harry Potter for real, you know, the old side, the castle side, you know. So, I mean, going to North Yorkshire, I remember my parents were like, what is this place? Because it was a tiny little town called Knaresborough that I ended up in. And they were like, it's just like, you know, one street of, you know, it's not very big. It's got a castle, actually, funny enough. You know, my dad and mother were like, you know, after living in Edinburgh all their lives, they couldn't believe that because my dad had changed his job.
Yeah.
So we ended up there. Me and my brother, you know, and Gary he's 10 years older than me, so he was used to, you know, kicking around Edinburgh as a teenager, you know, a big city, and then he ended up in like this little thing. So very different. Yeah.
What age were you around when you left Edinburgh then? So you must have been
6.
Oh, geez, so you were young. I was just about to say you probably missed a can of Thames, but probably not.
Yeah.
Thames of Buckfast. How did you get into the gaming scene? How was it like? How did you pop in there? Like as a musician, like did you say?
So like I played in after I left. I went to the Royal Northern College of Music to do like a proper music degree, right? So I did that for 4 years in Manchester. And then I left and just signed on the dole, right? That's because I didn't want to get a job. So I played in lots of bands between 22 and 33-ish. So some of the bands did all right, some of the bands did shit, just the way it was. I ended up playing in a band called Little Angels, who were like quite a big rock band in the UK at the time. They had a #1 album there, so I played trumpet for them for many years. We did like, you know, big tours with like Bon Jovi and Van Halen and ZZ Top and Brad Adams, and you know, we did these huge, great arena shows. Like, you know, 80,000 seaters, you know, with Bon Jovi. It was crazy.
Jesus.
So we did that for quite a while, but I was off and on the dole, right? So I'd go on tour, come back, be on the dole, on tour, be on the dole, like that. And I played in local bands, of course, at the same time, in between times to make money. So one of my friends, Robin Beanland, was one of the local bands that I played for. And he was a good friend. And he was a keyboard player. And one day he announced he'd got a job, right? And like, knowing that I knew he got a job, all my friends just played in bands and signed on and played in bands and signed on, you know. So off he went, and he went to work at Rare. So he'd been there about a year and a half. Said, you know, Grant, you've been on the dole on and off for 11 years, which I had. He said, don't you think it's time to get a job? And I was like, well, you know, what can I do? I'm 33, I've got no prospects whatsoever. What am I going to do? He said, well, why don't you try write music for video games like I am? So I thought, well, I suppose so. So I had about £1,000 to my name. And he recommended about a bit of equipment, like a copy of Cubase, a synthesizer, bits and pieces. So I sat in my bedroom at my mum's house, 'cause I still live with my mother, till 33. Writing tunes that I thought were video game appropriate, and I sent Rare 5 cassette tapes over the course of late 93, early 94. I never got a reply, and then out the blue got a letter saying please come for an interview. So I went down. Dave Wise interviewed me, and they gave me the job. Would you believe?
Oh wow!
So no one was more surprised than I was. It wasn't for Robin, I would never have done it. I feel like Robin changed my life. I would never have even considered a career of composing, because when I was at the Royal Northern College of Music, I was terrible at harmony and composing. I couldn't do it. I was really bad. I failed the exam 3 years out of 4. I just scraped by in the 4th year. So being a composer was never once a thing that I ever considered. I mean, I wrote songs for the metal bands that I played for, but that was it.
Yeah.
But like, Robin had not done it and suggested it, I would never have done it. So it's a complete fluke.
That's crazy because like I went to college to do music as well, and I found that I I went in as a guitarist and
Right.
came out as a drummer and bass player and a keyboardist and done fuck all with it.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
But I think that's the musician thing. Like you're either really really good or you're really really shite, and I feel like I'm really really shite. But I find like
I think, and I get it, but I just think there's a way through. You know, I think that you don't have to be a great player to be in a good band, right?
true, true. But I think I use my music now for comedy more than anything because when I stream, I normally write little diddles here and diddles there, and people enjoy it. But it's more kind of fucking for comedy now at this point. But
Yeah,
uh,
but that's good. I mean, I think that's good. At least you can do it, right? I think that's cool.
yeah, well, the lyrics are interesting. um, let's see what else I have here. I don't know if how much time you have here with me,
I'm
but
all right. I'm fine. I'm all right for now.
oh well, that's good, man. I just have I actually have a question from a friend as well. She was actually with me at EGX
Right.
when I first met you. She was a blonde, short little shit.
I think it rings. I think it rings a bell. Actually,
Yeah,
I think it does.
that's her first name, and
All right.
she actually gave me this here last year. It's a
Oh
wee,
wow, that's good. I like that.
it's a wee Banjo
That's awesome.
Kazooie pen. It's
Yeah, that's awesome.
limited to 10,000, so she gave me it, and I don't know why she gave me it because like she's a huge fan as well, and she just I'll ask this question anyway because may as well. Her name's Nixie, and
All right.
she says, out of all the games you worked on, what video game character can you relate to the most and why?
Let me think about that.
Gruntilda.
Well, I'm pretty miserable and prominent, and I'm quite bad tempered. Apparently, so my wife tells me. So something that's miserable and bad tempered would be my best. I'm trying to think who's like that in the video games that I've worked on. I don't know. Let's think. What's a bad tempered character? I guess Grunty is quite a bad tempered character.
I don't think you're like
So
I
maybe it
don't
would.
think you're bad tempered. Everybody I've seen you in is really more kind of
I'm good at not being. I'm good at pretending not to be bad tempered.
Right,
I'm
so, well,
I'm
so am
quite
I.
bad tempered. So my wife is like, you ask my wife, she's like, thinks I've got a very short fuse.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe Gruntilda, I guess, because I guess she's quite bad tempered and pretty miserable. So that's me.
And then you got your rhyming as well, so you're pretty good at music there too.
Right.
I was just saying to my missus before I came on. I was watching football before I came on. I was like, I'm so nervous asking these questions because I never do interviews. This is like literally my first interview I ever done, and
Oh, really? Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
and it's my favorite guitarist is Roy Gallagher, and
Right, he's great. Yeah.
that is the equivalent on the game music scene as you compare. Like, so this is a huge.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm on that level, but that's very
No, but
kind.
that's it is true though. It's like literally like I'm not licking your ass or anything, but your music from me as a kid, like that's stuck with me, and like it is up there, with Rory. Whoever I wanted to ever interview was that's the equivalent, and she goes,
So
oh
I've just been at a convention over the last weekend in.
yeah,
It's called Puyallup.
yeah,
It's in Seattle. It's near Seattle. It's the Washington Games Expo, whatever it was. And like when you meet people who come up for a chat, they do always say meeting my childhood and all that kind of thing. And I really feel like that kind of age range of like 5 to 12 before you start to be a cool kid, right?
yeah,
I feel like if any of us composers or any kind of thing like that is fortunate enough to be part of that kid's life, I think you generally remember those things forever. They stick with you to the day you die, right? So like for me, my favorite shows of like the time, like Thunderbirds or Scooby-Doo or Fireball XL5 or whatever, or UFO, or all the stuff that I used to like back in the day, right? I remember all the theme tunes, all the words to theme tunes to this day.
yeah.
And I just think that if you're fortunate enough to be a tiny part of someone's childhood, which is a real privilege, in that little finite age group, I think it sticks with them forever. I mean, things like, and also the thing about kids that I like is they don't have a filter, right? They just like what they like and don't like what they don't like. They don't care what's cool. So the kids who are between 5 and 12, quite like the DK rap because it was funny.
Yeah.
But the kids after that thought it was crap because it is, and didn't think it was cool because it isn't. So I feel like those little years where you have that kid thing going on, I think it sticks with you forever. That stuff you never forget it.
100%. And that's like, even like, say if I'm doing little bit like little things on my channel or whatever, or like setting up overlays or whatever, like I'd be listening to game soundtracks, like stuff from like NES and Super Nintendo and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it always comes back to Banjo and Kazooie. Like it always does. And it's weird that. It's so strange because like Banjo Kazooie was always my favorite game, and then Banjo Tooie came out, and there is a difference in the game that's a lot bigger. But,
there is.
But even Banjo Tooie, the music in Banjo Tooie with Banjo Kazooie is still brilliant. Like it's still there. Like I love both games, but Banjo Kazooie is my game. But the music is still there from growing up. You know what I mean? Like it's it just sticks with you.
It's just funny, like, how those games at Rare back then have stood the test of time for like Robin and me and Dave Wise and Graham Morgate, other composers who were there. It's you don't know why. You can't. If you knew why, you do it every day, right? So you don't know why some things stick and some things don't.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre how those. Banjo's my second game, right? So I did Goldeneye, and it was my first game that I did all of it. I did all the music, all the sound effects.
Yeah.
Right, that was the first time I did that. And I had to try and, you just got no idea what you're doing, right? You just kind of go, I don't know, that sounds alright to me.
It's funny because I met David Wise last year as well. I was at EGX and I met the guys it was the 25th anniversary of .com
KC.
Yeah. And I got to meet the guys there as well. And like that was the very first, like that literally when I first met you, that was the first really convention I've ever went to.
Right.
And my friends brought me over because they said, it was the 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary of Banjo Kazooie. And I says, okay. I wanted to bring I didn't know you guys were going to be there at all.
Right.
And I should have brought my cartridge to get signed.
Yeah.
Sadly, I didn't.
Next time.
Yeah, hopefully. Because I know the anniversary of Banjo and Tooie is coming up.
Yeah, it must be. It's got to be. Yeah, it must be soon.
Yeah, I think it's either next year or the year after. One of the two.
Yeah.
What was it like voicing the characters, and what was your favorite character to voice?
Well, I did Mumbo, I guess, so he's my main character. And I did DK and DK64.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, a lot of the times doing the voices, and I did a lot of the NPC characters and just jump. I did the Gingers too, and things, because half the time you do it because nobody else wants to do it, right? So. A lot of the time you just do it. You sat in your office, you get the mic up, and just do it yourself to be quick because no one wants to do it. It's a pain in the ass to talk anybody else into it. So in the early days, we just all did it ourselves and with the composers most of the time. So that's just the way it was. So later on at Rare, people started cottoning on that it was fun to do, so they'd queue up to do the voices, later on. But in the early days, you just did it because nobody else wanted to do it. So I just did it myself.
It's actually one of my dream jobs is actually to voice act. It is literally my dream job to do. From a kid, I think it is from just hearing them characters' voices and then just trying to replicate different accents and stuff. Like one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, but don't forget, everybody loves an Irish accent, right? Everyone loves the Irish accent.
I don't know.
No, but they do. Like when we did Viva Pinata, and Louise Ridgway, who was the animation person at Rare in those, well, she still there. I said we should get her to voice the main kind of narrator in the game, and she won an award for it.
Oh,
and
wow.
she wasn't a voice actor; she just did it because everybody loves the Irish accent, right?
Well, it always sounds like when I speak, it sounds like I have a pig under my arm walking down the street stealing a ladder. It does sound like that though, but there is a melodic sound to our accent, and I get
for definite. It's very little. It is very lilting. It is.
It's a interesting, but like voice acting was a way, like that's what I want to do as a career. Like streaming and everything, I love it, absolutely love it. But would you have any advice for someone like me that wants to get into voice acting?
So I really just do not know a lot about that. I mean, I was at this convention at the weekend, and there's just voice actors all over the place signing autographs. So it's a big business.
Yeah.
I just don't know how that. I mean, there will be agencies for definite that will do that, but I just don't, because I never really deal with that side of it, right? It's not because I just did music. When I was an audio director, then I would have dealt with it, but that was such a long time ago, like 2012, like before that. So I wouldn't know where to start. I really wouldn't. But you should do some research. There will be voice acting agencies. You just have to find them.
Yeah. And is there a big difference in that, like compared to the music and being a composer, then to actually directing like someone doing a voice? Is there like a real like comparison and that? Because when you're a musician, you can control that. When you're a voice actor, you don't really have that control on the person. If you get
No, but I guess so. If I would do like look, the last game that I did proper voice for was Kingdoms of Amalur. So so I was the audio director on that game, and I wrote the soundtrack too. So you had to make sure there was a clean recording and all that kind of stuff. That was my kind of side of it. You would get some kind of the narrator guys would be the ones that would tell them how to phrase stuff or how to is it a question, is it what explain the scenario, say it like this. So or the producer. So I wouldn't be involved in the kind of performance part of it. It would be more about I'd just make sure that it was clean, and I'd be the one cutting it. Well, I wouldn't do it. I'd get my staff to cut it up at the end into pieces, and I'd supervise it all to make sure it sounded good. So so that's kind of my I didn't. So I'd record it. I wouldn't actually be directing it.
Oh, okay. I just wanted just to put that in there, just because I know you did voices because of Mumble being your famous one, and come and have a go if you think you're tough enough. I know all about that.
Hard enough.
Hard enough. I'll get that right eventually. The only reason I know that is because I remember there was a time, it was Games Done Quick, and it was Banjo and Kazooie they were playing, and I think you called during their
done a few of those,
and I think that's how I know that it was either an interview with that there or some other interview, but that's how I know from that as well. And it's just you sped it up or you changed the pitch, or
I tried to slow it down to make my voice deeper. Because I was recording myself going top one up like that, so it didn't sound quite like it, and then I cut it up into pieces.
And you were saying that was like a football chant from
oh yeah, from England, for definite, for Britain, for sure. Maybe not an Ireland, but in England it was one of those things that as a school that was one of those things they used to shout at each other in football matches.
Being a West Ham fan, I know that. Actually, do you support any football teams? Do you actually support any?
Not really, but my son and my daughter, bizarre enough, you haven't live over here, my son's he's obsessed with Chelsea.
Okay.
He's talked about it. No, he's like 22 and never stops talking about it. And my daughter's obsessed with Man United, and she's like 19. So there you go. I don't know. We don't really a sporty family, but my son's a runner. He's at University of Santa Cruz, and he's like on the running team there, which is bizarre because me and my wife are not sporty at all.
That's cool though. So, that's cool to have. Like
it's crazy. Yeah, no, for definitely. Yeah, so he ran all the way to high school, and now he's on the running team at the university. So it's crazy.
That's mental. Well, this one is it's probably going to be a tricky one, but what was the longest time you spent on a track, recording a track? So I'll get into the game tracks later on. I have a wee bit. I have a few questions for that. But what is the longest song that you ever recorded? It's like would it have been from Banjo and you were like, oh fuck, I need to re-record that again because it sounded like shit? Or what was like the hardest or longest song that you recorded?
Nothing from Rare really. I feel like that was all done pretty fast. And also I talk fast and I'm fast. I write music fast, so it doesn't take me very long to write it really. The games that I had to do the most revisions for was Mario Rabbids, two Mario Rabbids games, and it was usually early on in the process. So Davide Soliani and Roman Brio's the audio director, and Davide Soliani is the creative director. When you're starting off both of those games, I got to easily 20 versions of each of the first tune. To getting the right style for the game, and then once you got the kind of style off, it gets easier as you go along. But Davide is pretty hard to please a lot of the time, so he does tend to ask. He's not great at telling you what he wants, but he's great at telling you what he doesn't want. So that some of those tunes were difficult, but usually definitely the first tune for each game, then the first one that I wrote, took a while to get right. But generally speaking, that doesn't happen on other games. It's just Davide's a bit hard to please.
And I apologise as well if I'm cursing too much as well.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I curse like a sailor as well,
You're just being very polite today for me.
I am today. I'm a bit tired today, so I'm not because the weekend and those conventions are tiring. You're sitting there giving autographs and stuff, and it doesn't sound like it's tiring, but it's you have to be jolly from 9 in the morning till 7 at night. Yeah. I'm not a naturally jolly person, so it takes its toll. So I'm a bit worn out at the minute. Well, I'm going to another one I'm going to Phoenix on Thursday for the weekend.
That's what I was about to say to you, because I know that you're actually going to another convention. I think you're going for 3 days. Is it you're going?
It's always like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So I go Thursday and I'm back on Sunday night.
And do you do that, like, how often do you do that? Because you probably do it like maybe every 2 months or something like that there, or...
Me and Dave Wise, Kev Bayliss, David Doak, last year we did the same one in Phoenix last year. We did the whole. We've got like a band thing, right? We've got drummer Nige and a guitar player Phil, and we do a band. So we play me and Dave's tunes, right? So this is the thing we're going to push a bit more. We're kind of like doing it. So and we did that, and we also did autograph signing when we were there. And it went really well. People want to have our autographs. We couldn't believe it. Really, we were quite shocked. So a guy from an agency approached me after that from a place called Celebworks. He's called Alex Lemus. And he said, we want to represent you for personal appearances. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, who on earth wants to get my autograph? I can't believe, or anything from me, a picture, I don't know. He said, believe me, we think it's going to be good for you. And I was like, oh, well, I'll give it a go. But, if it goes bad, let's just call it quits, right? So anyway, as I say, we started off with them, and I've got like 8 more to do this year, I think.
See, that's
so
mental as well. That's mental.
Well, no, this is the first time I've done it, right? So I say I've never, and I really feel also because my kids are out of school. My son's at university. My daughter's taking a year out from high school in Whitby in North Yorkshire to live with the grandparents at the minute.
Oh, wow.
So when she was at high school, I'd take her to school in the morning, pick her up in the afternoon. So it got me out of the house, right? Because neither of the kids are here at the moment. My son's back in June because he finishes this year. Holly's also back in June from Whitby to start college in September. So they'll be back. But when they've been away for this kind of time, I haven't any reason to go out of the house. And so I know it sounds ridiculous, but I really don't leave the house for days on end. I just sit here, write music, and I don't have to go out. I've nothing to go out. I don't maybe buy the groceries here and there, but I don't really go anywhere. She's like, you're going to get institutionalized if you're not careful. Yeah. So she says, it's good for you to do this convention that gets you out to meet people. So this is my year of being sociable, or I'm trying to. So as I said, I've got 8 more to go, I think, this year so far. There's probably going to be more I'm going to get booked in. So, and I've got to say, I've only done a few, but everybody's super nice, right? It's the people, you come and say hello. They might want to get an autograph. They might just want to say hello and say I like Banjo Kazooie or Goldeneye or my Rabbids or World of Warcraft or whatever it is I've done, right? And I feel like it's, sometimes you just think games are such a fantastic thing, like
100%.
It is a real. And also, what I like about these conventions, right, is that some people have challenged lives, right? They definitely do. It definitely exists, and I feel like they can go to those conventions for those 3 days. They can dress how they want to dress, be who they want to be, and no one gives a shit. Yeah. No one bats an eyelid, and it may be the only 3 days in that year where they feel like a normal person. Yeah. And I just think that's a fantastic part of those conventions. People just be who they want to be, dress who they want to be like. It doesn't matter, and no one cares. And the more outrageous, the better. You know? And I just think that's such a fantastic part of it. That everything else aside, that's the great element. People just do that, and it's fantastic.
That's what I love, because, like, again, being a punk as well, like, I would say, like, going to TwitchCon and stuff like that there, I would go to big conventions like that yearly. You would see people in cosplay and everything, and then people around my area, I live in a small town, and people would say that shit's weird, and I'd be like, you don't have the right to judge, you're not allowed, you don't have a law degree,
absolutely.
So you can't judge that. So, like, I just like people being whoever the fuck they want to be, and that's pretty cool, like, that they have the balls to do that, because and especially, say if you're coming up to someone you idolize as well, excuse me, and yourself, and they're dressed up as, say, Yooka-Laylee or Banjo, and there's no judgment there. That's like, I think there was a lady that was dressed up as Banjo and Kazooie there at EGX 2 years ago, and there was no judgment at all from you guys. It was just like, oh, it's nice to meet you and everything. Like, and that's the thing. No. That's the thing. And I remember what you said to me at EGX. I says, would you sign my tag? And you said straight away, I'll sign your arse. And that's how much I like that, because that was just no bullshit and was straight down that was like it was good crack, like. But I really like the conventions for that thing. I think it's a great thing. And sometimes people come to talk to you and they're super anxious and nervous, and you just do your best to put them at ease, because we're not rock stars, we're just people that write music for video games, right? We're no different to anybody else. That's for definite. So I think once they get over the fact that, well, everyone that I know that does this is very down to earth. Yeah. And so with no one's got any kind of ego. I hate the ego part of it. Just living in LA like I do, there's plenty of that around. Yeah. And I don't like it. So I feel like
I'm never going to be like that. I'm just an ordinary bloke. I really am. Like, and all the guys like Dave Wise and Kev and Steve Mills, Crystal, and all the guys that I know from back then, they're just ordinary blokes who just happen to make games.
Yeah, and they're good lads. They're good lads because when I was talking to them,
for definite.
when I was talking to them there last year, like, I know you only have like a brief second to talk to them, whatever, because there's people waiting and they want to get stuff signed. But like, I met oh god, I can't remember his name now. That's going to be sacrilegious. But I met him 2 years ago, and then I met him last year. Same guy, chatted to me the same way as he did. And you try and get a few seconds to whatever you want to say to them, but like, you could automatically tell that they're just normal people, and then you do get assholes. Of course, you get assholes. They're going to be, their egos up their hole, and they think they're God's gift. But seriously, sound guys, great guys to talk to. You know.
Oh no, as I say, everyone that I know is like that.
Yeah. And like,
I wouldn't be the friend if they were. I wouldn't be the friend if they weren't.
Exactly. And again, I apologise for smoking as well and having this here.
No.
It's the nerves.
You can have as many vices as you want.
It's the nerves for me, man. And you speaking there about like getting out of the house, like for me, streaming is like a 6-day job.
Right.
So I actually had to go and get a job outside this place. So it was either, because I'm a social person,
right,
and it was either socialise at work or socialise in the pub and spend money and get drunk. But
I get that.
But that's, again, being trapped in the house for you, I suppose, getting out to them conventions, it is kind of like getting away and getting, you know, away from like being trapped.
Honestly, it's not so much trapped. I like being at home, right? I guess I just like that. And my wife's really is opposite. She likes to get out and do stuff.
Yeah.
So she kind of drags me out, which is good. But I do like this. I like being at home. I've always been like that. I don't know why. It's just where I am. You know, getting me out to these conventions is a good thing. It gets me to remember that I'm part of the world, not just part of the world in these four walls, right? So,
and it gets you out traveling too, I suppose, because like like with that convention you were just back up, and again, you taking the time to talk to me straight after coming back from that convention. Are you mad? You must be mental.
I was knackered yesterday. I'm a bit better today, so yeah.
You had your morning coffee?
No, I'll be having that straight after this.
So what type of games do you like to work on? Like, what is your most favorites? Like, is it just because of the music? Because, like, say for Banjo Kazooie, it's I know I'm bringing Banjo Kazooie up a lot, but like for Banjo Kazooie, the music's kind of bubbly and happy, and sometimes there's some areas that are kind of be a little bit more dark. But with like Goldeneye and Yooka-Laylee and other games that you've done, which is your favorite type of game to work on?
Honestly, it's nice to do a bit of a variety. So I've been very lucky that in my career so far that I've got to do other stuff, right? So I've done the jolly platformy thing. I've done the serious, like Kingdom of Amalur, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know, Civilization's very spacey sci-fi. I've done Street Fighter 6 last year. A track for that. I did a little bit for Minecraft Dungeons, a bit for so you know, I've been lucky that I've been able to do a big variety of music from completely jolly to completely scary, right? So it's good to do. I guess if you got typecast and just did one thing, it might get a bit tedious.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky that I've always had different stuff to do. So people always asking the crazy things. So it's good to get to do, you know, as long as you can do it, it's good to do a big variety. So I wouldn't really say anything particular. But I'd like to write a Harry Potter movie. I like to do that.
Well, yeah. What about a Harry Potter game? They're still looking for music for that.
Anything Harry Potter is fine with me. I don't think I'll ever get to do it, but that's what I'd like to do.
It's the same with me and voice acting, my friend. New projects. Any new projects coming on that you're excited?
You can never talk about game. Well, game stuff always has you a nice NDA rights. You can talk about it. So
yeah,
I guess the one thing I can say is the guys that did the Mario Rabbids games at Ubisoft Milan, like Davide Soliani, and the core team from those games has quit Ubisoft and got its own studio now called Day 4 Night Studios, and they're making a game and working on that. And I got to say, it's super cool. I mean, Davide's got a real. You know, when he did the Mario Rabbids games, he completely broke the mold with Mario. Like, Mario never had a gun before, he never been in a game like that before. So Davide's great at these kind of new looks on stuff. So what we're doing is what I've seen so far, I think is really original. It's a really cool thing. I'm doing another movie for my friend Malcolm Matteo Rossi. I've done 2 or 3 of them already. 4 for him. I can't remember.
Cool.
So I'm doing that. And that's it for now. I can't talk about anything else.
You're always busy. I remember there was a line as well at EGX, everybody was going up, and you get this question all the time. So I'm just going to say it to you straight, and then you tell me to shut the fuck up and move on. So I remember I was going to stand on the queue to ask you, but then I lost my bottle. But the question is there ever going to be a Banjo 3?
So I honestly think it's unlikely. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But you can never say never. And like, obviously Rare would never do it because Rare's super busy with Sea of Thieves and that other game, Idlewild, or I can't what it's called, Everwild. I can't remember whatever it is. I can't remember. So like they got somebody else to do Killer Instinct. They need to find another studio that got the Banjo humor, that really was passionate about making that kind of game, and wanted to do it. So they'd have to present Rare with something that Rare thought this is a worthwhile addition to the game. So, like I say, I do think it's unlikely, but nothing's impossible.
That's it.
So I don't know if there's something going on with that. They're not asking me about it, so I don't know anything about that. I've never heard anything about. I've never heard any rumors about another Banjo game since we finished Nuts and Bolts. So but as I say, it would take a studio to convince it won't be Microsoft, it would be Rare. They have to convince Rare that they could take the franchise and run with it and get all the stuff from the previous two games and just get the whole humor. I feel like sometimes the humor might be the hardest part.
100%.
It's very Brit, and I think the Americans maybe wouldn't be able to get that like the Brits do. I don't know. I mean that would be the only way it could happen, I think.
Because there's a comparison to you talked about the humor there, because like I would be growing up, I was a big fan of Red Dwarf and
me too. I love Red Dwarf. Yeah, Red Dwarf's great.
It's an amazing show. Red Dwarf, Monty Python, Open All Hours, all that type of British comedy, and it works in Banjo and Kazooie and them type of games because it is such a British thing. You know what I mean? Like it's such a, and I think that gels with the Irish as well because they get that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
100% they get
like,
that.
for God's sake, Father Ted is one of the best shows in the world ever, right? I guess I watch that once a year, probably every year. It's fantastic.
Oh, see, I was actually showing it to my American followers there recently, and they just couldn't get over the jokes that were in it. And like,
oh my God, what a fantastic show that is.
Oh, it was brilliant. It's brilliant. But that British humour being and Irish humour being in games as well. Like I think it's a lot harder to for Americans to get that. And like even speaking about Red Dwarf there again, I showed that to my American followers and they just didn't get it. And it's like
no, I don't know. So as I say, nothing's impossible, but my gut says it's unlikely.
With Playtonic as well, like when they released Yooka-Laylee, I was extremely excited for it. And by the way, I love your Twitter; it's hilarious. There was a message that I seen on your Twitter that there a few days ago that made me laugh. It was Grumpy Grant coming out just.
I do try to stay on the whole good nature on my Twitter, but sometimes people really piss me off. So
man, I said fair foxy. I said fair play to you.
I have a go sometimes. I mean, it's not that often, but I do. When someone just goes, "Oh yeah, it's a shit game," that is. It just pisses me off because no dev team, and I don't care who they are, ever sets out to make a shit game. And a lot of the time, if games aren't great, it's usually because the higher part of the management of the company ruin it.
Yeah.
That's what happens because all the dev guys that I know, the programmers can program, the artists can draw, the animators can animate, the sound guys can do the sound, the composers can compose. We all know our disciplines inside out and we can all do a good job. Yeah. But you only do what you get told to do by the creative director, the producers, whatever it is. And they decide, what you're going to do. Yeah. So if you think what they're asking for is a bad idea, you still got to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Lots of times, these people have a go at Yooka-Laylee or whatever and say, "Oh my God, it's not this, it's not that."
Yeah.
They don't understand how dev works. They just think that the dev team scrimped on doing the game, want to get it out to make money and don't care about the public. Nothing could be further from the truth. Yeah. But that does not happen like that, right? Yeah. Every dev team that I've ever worked for or know about tries their absolute best to produce the best game they can with the tools they have and the time they're given.
100%,
right?
Yeah.
And the trouble with some people is they just don't know about it. They think it's making games is easy. Making games is easy. Making games is fucking hard. It takes a long time to make a game, and it's ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
So when people have even games that I don't like, I might say, look, I don't like it, but that's just me, right? I'm not saying it's a shit game. It's just not the game for me, and that's what you should say. You shouldn't say, oh, it's shit, crap. That bugs me. So
I like that. I like that because like you have the balls to say back the fuck off. Like that's your job. That is why you're hired to work on these games and to make the music, and that's basically your job to do that. And then if you have some person that then has an opinion, everybody has an asshole. Everybody has an opinion, and most of their opinions are completely fucking false and stupid, and they don't have the right to say, "Oh, a game is shit." They don't know how much work or effort that's gone into that. As a person that does music, as I say, like I could play a little thing. You're always your biggest critic when it comes to your own shit. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And then when you have somebody else online thinking that their opinion matters when you're already self-doubting yourself, like you don't need that bullshit. And I think that's what one of the biggest problems on the internet is that you could have, like, say Nintendo releases a huge game. Nintendo's a huge company. They're not gonna have one person defend it. And I like the fact that you defended the product that you created. That takes a lot of fucking balls. You see?
Yeah, like honestly, something like Yooka-Laylee comes out, right, and people like Game Informer give it 8 out of 10, which is a high mark. Game Informer were a big thing at the time, right? Yeah. And then you get good old Jim Sterling giving it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah. Because
we had to take JonTron out of the game because he had some issues at the time. I know JonTron. I think I deal with it. I think he's good. I think he's funny. Yeah. The time that I spent with him, I liked him. Yeah. Right. But you have to be careful with shit like that. Of course, Jim Sterling, of course, big JonTron mate, gives it 2 out of 10. Yeah. Like I felt like that was a twat's trick.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was like, if you knew how much you begged to get onto Yooka-Laylee and to get it before everybody else and all that, you wouldn't believe it, right? And then it gives it 2 out of 10, right? Yeah. So even with a game like Yooka-Laylee, even if you don't like it, it still looks good. Yeah. It still plays all right, So it's a 5. If you don't like it, it's easy a 5, right?
Yeah.
So, just to be an arsehole about it, I've got no time for people like that.
Well, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Like, the next stream, I was saying to you that today's my birthday, but I thought we were going to be doing this later. It's actually the 2nd of April.
Right.
But what I'm going to be doing is Yooka-Laylee for my birthday stream tomorrow. Because I really enjoyed the game. And, like, when I seen that comment about the shit that they said, I was like, why are you even, like, keep your mouth shut?
I know. It's just people who like to have a go. I mean, Yooka-Laylee is coming out. I would think this year sometime. We've redone the levels with a live orchestra. They've redone the game. It looks amazing. It plays fantastic. Like, people forget that Yooka-Laylee still sold. Well, it's probably a couple of million by now.
Oh yeah, I played it. I played it at EGX last year. Yeah.
Like, it's not to sell it for a game to sell 1 million copies in this market is bloody hard.
Yeah.
100%. So, but the trouble is, you just remember the bad ones, right? You don't remember the good ones, right? So it bugs when people have a go at things like that. Because everyone's a critic, right? And it's like, I also think sometimes with platform games, people forgot what platform games did because they kind of went out of fashion. Yeah. Like, you do get lost in platform games. That's part of it. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going. Everyone's hand-led these days around games. Go like this. So when you're stuck in Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie is a giant game. Yeah. I used to get lost in it all the time. It used to frustrate me too. But that's part of the platforming thing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So people forgot what platform is like. You get lost in Yooka-Laylee. That's because that's what platform games are about, right? So it just. So as I say, I do try to stay pretty well natured on Twitter, but occasionally I'll be a bit political. I don't like the guns in America, it's ridiculous. I don't like Donald Trump, it's ridiculous. And I don't like people who just have go at games for no reason. Yeah. And then these anonymous accounts, you don't know who they are. Like, you want to be a big man or a big woman about it and talk about it, let's see who you are, let's see your face, tell us about yourself, we can have a conversation. Yeah. If you're going to hide behind some little anonymous thing and slag everybody off, I've got no time for that.
Yeah, it's better to have a discussion than run away from the discussion and just
Yeah, so
like, you know, that starts fights. That starts like
yeah,
like it's better to have a conversation than actually run away from the conversation.
yeah.
But
As I say, I am pretty bad tempered, so I have to reel it in most of the time.
no, I
So,
like it. I fucking like it, man. Jesus, if if you have a fucking opinion, make sure your opinion's out there, because by God, they're going to give you their opinion. You know what I mean? They're going to say,
yeah, like, yeah. I feel like I'm on Twitter. You know who I am. I'm not hiding anything. You want to tell me I'm shit? Tell me I'm shit.
yeah. Yeah, and I
Fair
fully
enough.
agree with you too. Like, I fully agree, because like you're obviously going to get your trolls out there, you know, and like I have dealt with many a troll being a streamer, and of course they will go say the N word and stuff like that. They're trying to get your attention and stuff like, and
No, for sure. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like, grow up.
yeah, 100%. And like these people are like, I would always assume they're around, maybe around 18 to maybe 24 age group. But you get your assholes, man, and I think I commend you and fucking like standing up for yourself and stand up for the games that you've created, because like
Yeah.
with a big company, like I'm not shitting on Nintendo, but like with you saying about JonTron and stuff, like I remember when that shit went down, and I know that he has whatever he said, whatever, but again, it's like he was a fan, like he's a huge fan of Banjo Kazooie, like, and fuck, I would have killed for that role.
And no, but I like John. I really, honestly, I think he's a funny guy. His videos are funny,
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged coin, right? And like if I lose followers from shouting at somebody, I don't really care about that. I don't want those people to follow me.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't, and people forget that it's your Twitter account or your social media account. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right? You're not governed by anybody. I'm not some kind of privately owned entity. I'm just me, right?
Yeah.
Writing on Twitter what I think, right? Or on the other social media that I'm not on. And so that's just what I think. If you don't like it, unfollow me. That's fair. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And I'm sure you're not going to lose sleep. I'm not going to go to your account and find something that I don't like and have a go at it. I'm just not going to comment.
Yeah.
You got anything good to say, don't say it.
Yeah.
So if they have a go at me, I'm going to have a go back.
I like that. No fucking, like, no fear at all, man. No fear.
If I lost some more followers like tonight, so be it.
Well, I hope it's not because of me. They're going into your music, and I thought it was a very shitty thing. And again, not shitting on Nintendo, but I thought it was a really shitty thing that they did, and I think you deserved it. Was being credited in the Mario movie for the DK rap.
Yeah, that was a bit strange, and I did ask them. Because I did the Super Smash Brothers track for Banjo Kazooie, I do have some contacts at Kyoto at the main office, so I could kind of do a little bit of inquiring. And they came up with a policy, which was this: any music that was in the movie that came from the games, they wouldn't credit the composer. Then they decided anything with a vocal, they would credit. So the DK rap qualifies there. But then they also after that decided that anything with the vocal that they owned, they wouldn't credit the composer. So the two tracks, the Bowser's Fury and DK Rap, because they own that music, they wouldn't credit the composer. And I sort of said, I understand, but I said, when those credits come around in the movie, it's right at the end. The theater's empty, right? There's only me and my wife and my kids sat there going, look what I did. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like, for the sake of a few lines of text. But there you go. That's
annoying as hell. That's so shitty.
I know that's just the policy. Nintendo they're a private company, can do what they like.
Yeah.
So it's up to them,
Yeah. And like I also
know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, but I also had friends who saw the test screenings with the Mario movie, and at the time there had lots of temp music in the movie, and they were told that all the temp music that's going to come out is going to be replaced, and the DK rap was in there, but they kept it. So I think Seth Rogen thought it was right for the character, and they just went to the N64, looped the track, recorded the track, sampled it, and that was it. I just have to take this call.
No worries.
I don't know what she wants.
It's alright.
My wife's a teacher, right? She teaches in this local area, and they've just awarded a Teacher of the Year.
Oh wow! Fair play
I know.
there.
She can't believe it. They came in. There's confetti cannons going off. She has to give a speech at something later on. She's like, I can't believe it. What? I've always thought she was fantastic. She's a science teacher.
Oh wow.
She's so conscientious of what she does, but she's just, she can barely speak. She just can't believe it. So how
That's
fantastic
crazy.
is that?
Fair play to her.
Yeah.
Hey? Well
Yeah,
done.
absolutely, yeah.
Congratulations. Hey, Jesus.
I know, amazing.
You'll be drunk. Actually, do you drink? You don't drink, do you?
No, I do, but a bit less these days, kind of thing. So yeah.
I know. I get it. Our age, 33.
But I just, well, I'm not older than that, Christ. But I mean, I feel like, I don't know with the booze, and like I used, you know, when I'm in my rocking days, I used to be pretty boozy, but I feel like not so much these days. And I don't know. I keep seeing these things that all alcohol's poison, so I don't know.
Well, you'll probably have some tonight now after getting her again.
I expect she will, yeah. So she'll be back at 3 o'clock, so let's see how it goes.
Just going back to what I was saying there about the
I know.
about having the DK rap thing. Now, I remember I was sitting in the cinema and I was like expecting your name to pop up, and there was fuck all. There was nothing there. I was like, what's going on here? And I'm a Nintendo guy. Like, I'm a Nintendo fan. Like, again, growing up with all the Nintendo games. And this brings me to this here thing I was going to show you now in a second. But I thought it was very, very strange. And another one kind of brings into this topic as well with Goldeneye, with the royalties from Goldeneye and the music from Goldeneye, not getting paid from the royalties from that.
So the team at the time, they got royalties from the game. So yeah, but like when the music's on, well, it's never. I've never had an official release, right? So we wouldn't get money from that anyway. That would go to Rare.
Yeah, it was very.
And also, but don't forget the actual Bond theme written by Monty Norman. He's dead now, but his estate will get that money.
And like that's an amazing soundtrack as well. Like I would have that played. I remember there was I was playing Fallout 3, and it's one of my best viewed clips. It was Fallout 3, and I kept dying in the stage, and there was this kind of DLC I was doing. I says, fuck it, I need this music, and I put on Goldeneye music that you composed, and it actually made me pass the stage, and then I got killed at the end of it. So I was like, go on, grab it.
But don't forget, me and Graham Norgate did that together. It's probably about half and half.
Yeah. I want to show you a real clip here. This is going back. If you don't mind seeing this clip,
sure.
I'm going to screen share here. So this is a good bit ago. Do you see the clip?
Yeah, I can see it, but I think nothing's moving yet.
Yeah, I just have to play. So this is my reaction to when I seen Banjo Kazooie in Smash. So I was a wee bit happy, I'd say.
I know, it was a good time that was. I see you there.
Can you hear it okay?
I can't hear it. I can see it.
What?
I can now.
Is that a puzzle piece? Is that a puzzle piece? That looked like a puzzle piece. Banjo Kazooie! Banjo Kazooie! Oh my god! Oh, you fucking troll! You troll! You fucking trolled me! Fucking dick! There he is! There he is! Banjo! Banjo Kazooie! Oh my god! As you can see, I'm a big fan. Oh my god! Yes! Yes! Yeah, I lost my shit there.
But I mean, I did. I think everyone did, right? I think that that's a point in my career that I'll never forget, right? Like winning the Ivor Novello, winning a World Soundtrack Award for the movie that we did with Pierce Brosnan, getting a BAFTA nomination, and that, that's something that I'm never going to forget. It was such a fantastic moment, and the fan community went crazy, and it was like we were all in tears. I was in tears. Everybody was in tears. So like, even though I remember when I first got the kind of email about they wanted to have me one of my assistants on something. That's what they asked for on Nintendo, And I just thought, what could that be? I thought, is it? And I immediately thought, is Banjo going to go to Smash? I thought, no, it can't be. I thought maybe it was going to be Rabbid Peach out of the Rabbids games, something like that. And then when we finally got through to what it was going to be, I was like, oh my God, people are going to just go ballistic when they find out about this. I only found out really in January, and it was like really announced in like May, whatever it was. May was it? Or April? Whatever.
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I often go back and watch those fan reaction videos on YouTube because they're so heartwarming, and everyone's crying, and like the Nintendo store in New York, we'd been there for them. We launched both Mario Rabbids games there, so I know the store well, and the people there, and seeing everybody upstairs going crazy watching the video. I mean, all my friends that I knew, streaming people that I know, just people who are just big fans who just lost their shit when they saw Banjo Kazooie was going to be smashed. I mean, it was just one of those absolutely momentous events, I think.
My dog went nuts. He didn't know what was going on. I was like, he was whining outside the door, and he went like literally, he went crazy at me for getting too excited. I was talking about the Mario Rabbids games. I really love the music in them games, and they're quite fun games as well to play.
Yeah.
Very different. They're kind of like an XCOM kind of weird game to play, but the music really works in that, and I love that the fact that there's original music, but there also goes back to Nintendo's Mario music as well. And I wonder, did you have any work with that, and kind of like have the nostalgia feel of like bringing Mario's music into that? Obviously it's a Mario game, but
it's if you'd have told me back in 1995 when I started at Rare, I'd write 2 orchestral scores for Mario, I'd say you were crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So, and get to do DK2, I'd have said you were nuts.
Yeah.
So that's one of those other events that I'm never going to forget. But so I had to do little bits of Koji Kondo stuff, like some of the game over, the game over thing. I did that with an orchestra.
Yeah.
And I got that. I got the harmony right, but I got some of the parts upside down, I think, or something. So I got a little email from Nintendo, just dear Mr. Kirkhope, we like your rendition of whatever it was. But could you just change it to this? And they sent me a little bit of sheet music. And I just thought, God, here's a bit of actual sheet music from Koji Kondo, from Nintendo. To me, it was just like one of those moments you kind of pinch yourself and go, is this real, And when I was doing some of the cinematic sequences, and my son would pass my door and say, God, Dad, can you believe you're looking at Mario on the screen? I said, well, some of those things, it's just incredible. Like also the team at Milan, Ubisoft Milan, were a real passionate team about. They're real big, massive Nintendo fans like you, and they just, for them to get the chance to play with Mario, they just couldn't believe it. So everyone was super passionate, super scared to break anything, because Mario's just, it's Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
And all the other characters like Luigi and Peach and all the rest of them. I mean, it's ridiculous that we got the chance to do that. I guess about 8 years we did that.
Oh, wow.
So it was just, super special event that was.
Did you ever get to meet I was about to call him Majora's Mask. I was about to call him Majora's Mask for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah. But did you ever get to meet him or Miyamoto or? No,
but David, the team. Funny enough, when we went to E3 the first time, and we were showing the game off, and at Ubisoft's stand, and all the team was there, and I was chatting to David, and then they all disappeared for like a minute. I was like, where's everybody gone? And they were meeting Mr. Miyamoto, but just forgot to take me.
Oh,
so
no.
They all went in to chat with him, and I was left out. I was like, I just couldn't work out where they were. That was a bit weird. They all just vanished. And then I saw Mr. Miyamoto walking past. I was like, Mr. Miyamoto, what's he doing here? And then they all came out. It's like, what the fuck? Where was I? Anyway, so that was it.
I remember as well when I was a kid, I used to, I don't know if you were in this, but I thought to ask it anyway. When I was a kid, there was maybe David Wise, probably the question for, but there was an old VHS tape that came out when it was I don't know if it was the Rare Studio, whatever, and it was like a documentary team, and I think the video was only like 30 minutes long at least. And I was wondering if you were in that VHS tape. It was to promote Donkey Kong Country.
No, it'd be Dave. I hadn't started around until 95, like DKC was before that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'd be Dave.
Yeah. I thought just to ask, because I remember having that old cassette tape and it was green, and it was just like, kind of like you did the Rare Replay.
Yeah, right.
And it was more kind of like...
yeah, I'm sure it'd be Dave. That would be.
Yeah.
Dave did such a fantastic job. Dave's music on those games is phenomenal. So, he did a fantastic job.
What do you enjoy working with Dave with his music? Or?
Oh yeah, honestly, a bit of a great laugh this weekend up in pardon me, you pronounce it Puyallup.
Yeah.
But it's Daisy. But like, yeah, we had a good laugh. You know, it's been great fun. And he's going to be doing some more together later on, so it's good fun seeing Dave. And Kev comes along.
Yeah, I was about to say about Kev as well.
We have a good laugh, yeah, definitely.
Because I know Kev streams on Twitch as well, and
no, yeah, for sure. No, honestly, we had a great laugh. We always do.
That's good. I'm sorry that I'm holding you up now, man. You're probably
That's all right.
wanting to go, but like this is seriously unbelievable, man, to actually have this conversation with you. I would love to share, because I don't know what type of music you listen to now. Are you still listening to metal, or is your music all completely different now? Are you listening to?
No, I'm still a rock fan without a doubt. I feel like that's still the music I listen to. I listen to other stuff, but I mean, you know, I like prog rock. So I like a bit of early Genesis and a bit of early Rush, and you know, things like that. And you know, I like Nightwish now and bands like that. But I still listen to my old favourite Van Halen and Priest and Maiden and all the stuff. You know, that's never going to leave me, because that's my teenage years, right? Yeah. So, you know, I'm always going to be a rock fan. As I say, I'm a guitar player, and that's the way I play guitar. I can't really play guitar any other way. I can't play that guitar that great these days, but I try. But,
listen. I seen the video on Twitter, and man, there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that.
It's funny, like because like we have the band, right? We call it Video Games Rock. It's me, Kev, Dave, Doug, you know, and Nigel, Phil, and you know, and we do them. We play. We've got a gig later this year, I think. We're trying to do more of this stuff because it's good fun.
Yeah.
And we have, like, you know, we have it's like modular. We have it all on computer, so we can take bits out for the people that are there and put them back in if they're not there. So when we do these conventions, me and Dave play along to our backing tracks, right? So we make the backing track. We don't take it from the game and make it, and we remake it and do a different rock version. Then we can play over it, right? So we started doing these little things, and when we do the autograph stuff, right? We'll play every half an hour, or whatever, and play, you know, a bit of Banjo Kazooie, a bit of Donkey Kong, whatever, you know, kind of thing. So, but people have a laugh with it. So that was us just doing our little. We call it our you know, when you go to an arcade machine and it's got an attract mode where it's kind of working before you put the money in. Yeah. We call it our attract mode. So we play a few tunes, hopefully attract some people, and you know, do that stuff. So
it's cool though.
So,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Because I seen the video and you were like, you're so harsh on yourself, saying like, oh, it sounds. What was it you said?
It's a bit rough. Yeah, it's a bit rough. I said, yeah.
No, it sounded alright to me, man. As a musician, I was like,
it's just because I know back in my heyday, you know, in my teenage 20s into the 20s and 30s, I was like, I played guitar every day a lot, right? So I was a lot better than I am now. Yeah. So I kind of look at myself and go, it's a bit ropey, but you know, I'm glad people still think it's something to listen to. Man.
Good shit. Like, I would love to share some bands with you, because there's some up and comers that are amazing.
Send them over.
There's an Irish band. They're called The Scratch, and they're traditional Irish music metal.
All right.
Yeah, they're very, very, very talented. They did. There's a TV show in Ireland called The RTE, and it's like
I know.
And
that used to be Gay Byrne or Gay Byrne.
Yeah, Gay Byrne. Gay Byrne.
Yeah.
And they did a cover of Chop Suey, I think it was.
All right.
No, sorry, it wasn't Chop Suey. It was a System of a Down song anyway. I must send it on to you. And then there's another band that they're actually from Gillingham in the UK.
Don't know it.
It's like a small wee town and near near Margate, around that area.
Right.
And they're called the Zach Schultz Gang, and it's kind of like they're bluesy rock. And I should send them over to see what you think of them.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, do it.
See what you think. I don't know if I have any other questions now, because I didn't want to keep you long, because you probably.
It's all right. It's my coffee time now. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock here. I'm way past my coffee time. I'll be getting cranky if I don't get to have that coffee.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me, man. This seriously is an amazing thing. Seriously, I never thought this would ever fucking happen in my life, man. Seriously. And it's nice to get asked. I like a little chat. It's good. Well, hopefully we can do it again if you're
yeah, sure.
It. And
just let me know.
And man, seriously, this does mean a shit ton to me. Like you can see in my face, I'm happy as fuck. And it's funny because before I let you go, I was like saying it to my mates. I'm going to be talking to Grant, and they were like, "Who's Grant?"
They're like, yeah, Grant, who the fuck's he? Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but the games they play is like Call of Duty and FIFA, and I was like,
Right.
you just don't understand. It's a fucking huge deal. But I want to thank you again, man. Thank you so much, Shay, for taking this call. Really, really means a lot.
No, honestly, anytime. You know, thanks for asking me, and I'm sure we'll chat in the future.
Hopefully, and hopefully I'll try and get Kev on as well, because maybe he might.
No, for definite. You should ask Kevin Dame. I'm sure they'd love to do it.
Oh man, thank you so much. This is my first interview.
I can hook you up there if you want. Just let me know.
Oh, please do. That'd be class, man. I would really appreciate it. Thank you again, man, for taking the call. I'll see you later.
I'll say cheerio from sunny LA. You know.
Aye, we're gonna have a pushing downpour now in a second in Ireland. Thanks for that. See you later, Grant.
Cheers.
Cheers, pal. See you now, bud.